All right, we're back in the saddle with Coach Probst. Last week we didn't get in, Coach, so we'll just get everybody caught up. Let's rewind the clock 2 weeks ago. Your quarterback, Mac Long had an exceptional game. I believe he's 11 for 13. He had, 7 touchdowns the first half, something like that. I mean, he had an incredible game. What was it that kind of made everything start clicking in the passing game that week?
Well, we worked on it, number one. We felt like going in that we needed to win what I call left-handed. You know, I think you got to have both hands in a fight. And if you can't, we know we can run the football. We've proved that in a lot of big games, you know, Pell City and other games. We know we can line up and be physical with people and run the football. I wanted to go in that ball game and give our 10th grade quarterback some confidence. And the maturity, the maturity of a quarterback. I think with Mac too. I think giving him that night, he was able to complete balls and people made plays. I think he threw 6 touchdowns the first half. He threw a touchdown the second half for a total of 7. And it gave people, I think, throughout the state, throughout our region. Hey, they load the box on us. We count the numbers. We can beat you in the throw game. I think most people know who I am. They know that I like to throw the football, and I've won a lot of ball games throwing the football. And so, but at the same time, I don't ever want to be tilted to the side of just throwing the football. I want to be balanced. I want to be able to do both. And I feel like wherever I've been, you know, maybe not Hoover. We had a 2,000-yard rusher. I think we had a 1,700-yard rusher one year in 2006. But in Georgia, I had 3 2,000-yard rushers in that 11 years. So we were able to run the football and stay balanced. But then again, you know, you got to be able to throw it too. And so this gives us the ability to do that, gives us confidence to do that. And I think going forward during the season, we'll continue to try to do that and continue to stay balanced.
How fun is it to have a guy like Mac, so young, raw, that you kind of get to mold him from clay, so to speak? Now, he has some talent. He's been coached, but you get to put so much into him. He's giving it back to you on the field, but also in the classroom. You know, I've seen you guys sit there together, and you're calling QB class with him, and y'all are sitting there for hours learning the position, the ins and outs, the reads, everything. How fun is that? And does that keep you young as a coach?
It does. You know, we call it QB Lab. And, you know, it's not here at school. We got a place over at River Rock that we're able to sit down at night. He lives, you know, 100 yards from me, and we're able to get together and study the game of football, study his read progression, study the maturation of a quarterback. I think when you take a young quarterback, and I've had some, and I hadn't had many 10th graders. We forget that he's a 10th grader. I've had very few 10th grade quarterbacks that have started for me. He's one. John Parker Wilson was one late in his career when we had our quarterback got hurt. He had to finish the playoffs run, you know, that year as a 10th grader, and I thought performed fairly well. But most of the kids I've had in our programs over the years have been junior seniors. So it is different. I think that what you'll see with him as each week goes by, he'll make mistakes. He won't do things right all the time, but at the end, I hope through a 10-game schedule and then into the playoffs that he continues to become a better quarterback. And, you know, I tell him all the time, at the end of the year and we get into the playoffs, you're not a 10th grader anymore. You're really starting to become a junior as far as taking all the snaps and reps he's gotten. So, but he does learn. He's a smart kid. He has a really good arm. we're just trying to teach him the read progressions, the check downs, the things that get him out of trouble. So when the play breaks down, he has to be able to get out of trouble some. And his leg, he got good legs, he can run. But like I told him, there's problems with running it, and you got to be smart and dump the ball off and distribute the ball to different people. And if he'll do that and he learns that, then we'll be a better football team.
No doubt. Last week, you had an opponent of a different kind come in from Mobile. The Blunt Leopards came here in a knockdown drag-out. It looked like a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't back down physicality. I ain't never seen Coosa back down physical-wise, but you guys kind of took control of that game and started squeezing like an anaconda on them and ended up getting out of here with a very prominent victory. I thought that was a really good victory to have right out here on this field behind us.
No, I thought it was a huge win for us. I mean, we let the one Pell City get away from us. We all know we should have won that game. If we played that game 100 times, we win that game 99 times under the same circumstance. But we didn't. We gave it away. We just handed it to them. And so we really needed to rebound from that. And really, you go back to Pierce County, I thought we played them really. I mean, we led at halftime. We screwed up coming out, starting the second half, fumbling the opening kickoff and throwing an interception, giving up a long run. But I thought we played them even Steven too. So it was that third chance at playing a big school with numbers. They brought over 80 players. Blunt did. And so I think that was a huge win for our program and a huge win for the confidence of our players going forward. If we'd have lost that game, there would have been some doubt creep in. Well, we can beat people that are not very good or not as good as we are, but we can't beat people that are better than we are. So I think by how close we played Pierce and probably should have won Pell City, I felt like the Blunt win was a huge win for our program, and I think gives our kids some confidence going forward.
How important was it to play athletes like that? Because you're going to see, as these playoffs get deeper, you're going to start seeing athletes like Blunt put on the field.
Well, you're going to see them definitely in the playoffs. You're going to see, if you look at the top 10 ranking today, you've got some really good teams, especially in South Alabama with Laverne and Reeltown and Arrington. But there's other ones. And then in the north, there's some good teams too. TA, which we play later on in the year. Vincent, Pleasant Valley. There's some good teams out there in 2A in the north that we're going to have to compete with. So I think playoffs are unique. There's 5 rounds of it, but I don't call it first, second, third, fourth round. I call it state championship game number 1. Yeah. That's really what it is.
You're right.
And so you have to be a state champion. You got to win the first championship game. And so every game is a championship game as far as I'm concerned going forward. But I think playing Blunt, and they had really good running backs too. Those running backs were good. They had a lineman that's committed, number 75, really good lineman.
He's a pretty good size fellow.
Really good. He was good too. But they gapped us up some, and they were big up front. And they ran the zone read, or the zone play, which is hard to defend. It's hard to take care of all gaps when they're that kind of they got that kind of size, and their backs were big. So it was tough on us, but our kids handled it, and we was able to get out of there with a win, big win.
Couple more questions and I'll get you out of here, Coach. This week you turn around on a quick week, and for some reason or another, the next 3, I believe, is Thursday night games.
They are.
First of all, your opinion on a Thursday night game. Second of all, how do you approach them differently?
Well, Thursday night games are a little bit different in the fact that you're just a day shorter, that you got to put more into Sunday than you do. And Monday, because really Monday's your 2 work days. Tuesday's a little bit lighter day. Although this week we worked a normal day on Tuesday. We worked a normal Tuesday this week, and I hope it don't come back and bite us. But, we had a pretty good practice yesterday on a Tuesday. Today we'll back down a lot and basically glorified walk through to get our bodies rested up going to Cleveland. But I think that's the issue. For the next 3 weeks, we just got to gear up and be ready to go on Sundays. And, you got to have at least an hour to hour and a half practice on Sunday to get your prep in for the next week's opponent.
You have to attack those Sundays.
Yeah, you have to attack
Sundays. Really important on this week.
Sundays or Mondays, and that's what you got to approach it like. So Sundays or Mondays, and then Mondays or Tuesdays, and that's your 2 work days. So I think you got to approach it that way. I don't think you can just come up here and just watch film and lift on a Sunday when you got a game on a Thursday. You have to really approach it differently and you have to practice.
For everyone coming to the game that has not seen Cleveland this year, what have you seen from them on film?
You know, they got some bright spots. I mean, you know, they do have some bright spots. And anytime you go on the road and play somebody, you got to go play. I mean, we saw that when we went to Southeastern, didn't get off the bus ready to play, and struggled the first half. And in the second half, I thought we, you know, strapped it up and went and played. You know, I think, and I told our players this, if you play down to your competition, you know, then it's going to bite you. It's going to bite you. You know, probably talent-wise, we're better than Cleveland, but that don't really matter. I mean, the bottom line is you got to play a 48-minute ball game. In that capsule, that 48 minutes, you better be good.
Yeah.
And you better play at a level that's championship level. That's right. I told our players, these next 3 weeks will determine if we're going to be a state champion or not, because if we sort of just sleepwalk through the next 3 weeks and don't improve, then it'll bite us come playoff time. That's no doubt. And I've never, you know, I've never been a guy that shies away from being honest with the team.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to tell you, you know, tomorrow night how our kids approach Cleveland, and you know, and I hope they approach it with a championship mentality.
And Chris Yeager said it best. I was interviewing him before, and he's talking about. He said, "My job, when I know these other guys got more skill than us, is how do we limit that skill? Some things we may do that they ain't seen, just to make those athletes slow down a second, so we can be on a level playing field. And we know where we're going; they don't.
That's right.
And then you're on the road. You're right. You're exactly right, Coach. I appreciate you sitting in with us, and good luck to you. And before I shut it down, I always like to give it back to you just for final thoughts.
Well, my final thoughts is what I just said. I think that these next 3 weeks, you know, with Cleveland, Cold Springs, and West End will determine a lot for our football team. We better come out of these next 3 weeks being a better football team, I can tell you that. And if we don't, then we won't be state champions. So, you know, everything will be determined the next 3 weeks as far as how we're approaching these next 3 weeks, because, you know, we may get first, second round teams that our kids think they're sort of like our region opponent, and that's just not true. So it's a little bit of a psychological warfare is what you're doing right now with our team. It's psychological warfare, getting them ready for playoff football.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you as always sitting in.
Thank you.